radio check, radio check. Work is in the AO. Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. Glad you can join us today for some Motorsport Manager. It's a risky choice for a post-break stream, mostly because it's not really going so well so far. We have an update. Last time we started our first foray into the Asia Pacific Super Cup, and unfortunately it has not gone as well as we hoped, mostly because there's a lot of the new mechanics that we're trying to get our hands on. Mostly it's the qualification setup with the tire heating minigame that we're having trouble overall. Currently last in the teams, no, second to last apparently, as Sprint GP is behind us for some reason. But both of our drivers are currently on the upper end of the lower half, with Valsu at 11th and Perez at 14th. Now, because of the scoring system in the game, you can only get the top 8. You can only give points to the top 8, which means we currently have nothing, and the standings is only via the most recent finishes. I'm trying to check the rules to see if we're gonna get any money out of this. Okay, where's the current rules? Should be around here, right? Make changes. Current rules, there it is. C. Medium length qualifying. Standard. 31 laps on races. That's standard length. We use that. There's a pit lane limit of 16 miles an hour. We actually are used to that as well. Semi-sequential pit stops. Yeah, you get to refuel and fix parts almost at the same time. High merit payments, which means that there's a lot more money that goes to the better performing teams, which means we're probably going to get a pittance at the end of this season, since we're not going to go up beyond 10th with how few development options we have. Double points for the final race of the season, allowing teams to dramatically leapfrog one another in the last race. Bonus points for pole. It's 2 bonus points every time we go for pole in qualifying. We got low profile tires, which means they're very cheap, and they're not exactly the fastest around, which means we really need to fast forward everything. Well, 12 dry tire choices per weekend, and you get to choose your own. So no auto switch, no pre-assigned tires. VSC only, which means that vehicles are only electronically slowed down, so no need to wait for some extra laps. Then there was refueling, 80% of race distance. Driver aids allowed. Personally, I'm not a fan of this. Weight stripping, we can't really make the most out of this right now because most of the material we have is awful. So if we try to reduce the weight, we put our car at risk of being damaged much earlier. So we don't have the good development points yet. This is our first Asia Pacific Super Cup run after all. Okay, what do we got? Standing start, yeah, that's standard. Free choice of tire components, yeah, that's related to the one earlier. Brutus tires. Not as durable as Cortez, which is what we were using in the European Racing Series, but they're a bit more speedy. Probably to interact with rather to counteract the fact that we're currently using their low-profile tire options. Points are only for the top 8. And the only spec parts we have right now are rear wings, which is pretty decent, but not exactly very helpful in the long run, since a lot of the races will require more than just dealing with spec rear wings. There's ERS, which I can't really use effectively, which is why I let the drivers think for themselves for this one. 3 dry weather tire compounds for racing, which is a bit confusing. and pretty much breaks our own tactic of just using the slowest tire compound uh, for practice and qualification, so that we can maintain stamina for the actual race day while keeping performance tires safe. Although there is a last place bonus payment at the end of the season, which gives us $250,000 at the end of each race. Okay, it was per race, not season-wise. So if we end up being in the last place, we're gonna get this as a bonus as well. There's a qualifying session. The problem is I really cannot get a grasp on how to properly work the tire wear thing. From the notes I read before I went back into this, the thing to remember is that straights allow you to go all out, but if you're entering a corner, you have to reduce the engine mode. But sometimes even going in normal engine mode on a straight heats up the tire dramatically. I guess it's because we did use lower, cheaper manufacturers that would provide us with tire heating and all that. That's one issue. And short practice sessions, 12 minutes. It's the qualifications that are 10. But we're only used to short practice sessions, so that's not a problem. Anyway, now that that's in the mail, we need to worry about the fact that parts designing isn't exactly up to snuff either. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done and fast. And we're still also scouting for drivers. There's probably a bunch of new eyes that will show up. Earn sponsorship deals. Okay, let's see. Scouting report. Enrique Quiles would be a low-quality driver in the Cup. Potential is huge, though, and given the chance to improve, he can be one of the best drivers around. He's excellent at braking, which means he'll have no problems stopping before a corner, and there's less of a chance that he'll end up in the runoff position. There's a problem with addictive personality, though, which could affect most of the extra stuff in the long run. By the looks of it, though, braking is the only thing he's really good at. He's not exactly a cornering expert right now. He's not very smooth. He's not the type to overtake. Not very consistent, nor is he adaptable. Good for feedback, though. Very fit, and despite the addictive personality, his focus is pretty decent, so I think he'll work well as a backup, rather a test driver, so putting him in the reserve would be nice, and I think he's a bit cheap. There's also the fact that he's only 18, which means with a little more development, he might be able to get some pretty good numbers out in the front line soon. Meanwhile, we have Rosa Ivanev, one of the weakest drivers, but she has a decent amount of potential. Very decent in fitness, or rather strength, but she's not very consistent. And she doesn't have any driver traits that would probably affect her. Very good at cornering, though, which means she's absolutely spinning around other people on the rough run in corner-heavy maps like Guildford or Yokohama. There's that. Okay. It'll be 34 laps? Are you kidding me? That's much longer than the usual. Likely to be some rain with a 40% chance on race day itself. Not exactly a good sign there. Acceleration, again, we're already working on the new gearbox, but I don't think we'll have time to improve its performance and reliability before we go to the races, so that's a problem. Okay, we snagged some of the most lucrative sponsorship deals around. The rest of the teams in the Asia Pacific Super Cup are struggling to compete with us, so keep at it. Oh no, what I got is the engine. Oh no, that's a problem. What's our engine like? Engine average 682. I think I'm gonna give that to Jacob. I mean, it's just 10 points ahead of our current one, but if we improve its performance, we'll jump up to 703. The problem is, its reliability is only 40%. So if we want to survive here, we need to get that thing up on snuff. Not performance. I need reliability. Ooh, that's not good. 6 minutes before the race, 2 days before the race. It's a bit of a rough run. Anybody else on the scouting rink we can use? Got a queue, but I don't think we're gonna get any good drivers out of that. Trying to get a new part. What else do we need? For the next race, it's going to be acceleration. Excuse me. That was a bad sneeze. Ugh. Where's my car development center? Okay, let's get a new gearbox. So what do we want? We want either reliability or acceleration development. I think I want a more reliable vehicle so that I don't need to worry about survivability much. And then, increase to build time? 11 days after the next race. There's also a reduction in build time, but it reduces reliability and increases the red zone, so I don't think I want to use that. Probably go for acceleration, but with a reduction of reliability by 10%, or we can just go for long runs. It will reduce the chances that we can use it, though, but I can probably use that as a base for next time when we can get illegal parts, unless there's a chance that we will be demoted, which is very likely. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to save it here. Go ahead. As I said, this will be a season of humiliation because we will not be able to perform very well. Not just because we have poor parts, but because my performance in the qualification minigame is awful. And I'm still working on trying to get funding for the road car factory, and I think that's much more important right now. Maxwell's. Meanwhile, oh, they just hit up Yokohama for the second round of the World Motorsport Championship, and it looks like Rossini is once again on top. But Steinman is trying to hold on with a new driver. It's Fatima Tarasenko. Chica Balcazar for Rossini is leading the charge in Yokohama, while her teammate, the previous leader, Yannick Husted, scores or rounds up the podium third. Husted, meanwhile, is still on top in the standings, while Tarasenko, who is currently leading driver Steinman, is at second, while Kazar snatches third in the standings. Panther is still in cornering, or still in a watch-out corner there, so there's still a good chance they can come back to this like last time, but the question is, can they keep up? Kitano, which got promoted last time, is now 7th and 8th respectively, but only Sudikov has points. Margate still failing to get anything after 2 rounds. Now here's our situation. Ruby's Motorsport has gotten a better set of sponsors than us, and there's a really good chance these guys are going to leave after. Okay, we're going to lose El Banco in 2 races, so is Nihon. And Transantarctic will be staying with us for 3. But unless we can increase our marketability even further, there's a really low chance we'll get another 5-star sponsor here, so that's going to be a problem. Anyway, let's go ahead and push forward. Ooh, new scouting. New scout news. Let's see. Let's see what the motorsport world is saying before the race in Beijing. After last week's season opener in Singapore, the teams will be watching to see whether or not Boa Esperanza's pace is true, or if they just had unusually good performance last weekend. Armo will be looking to add his trophy to his trophy cabinet, and on chances of him continuing his farm, the 27-year-old told his fans back home to take all of their money and put it on me. I'm a shoe-in. Away from the front of the pack, struggling Esprit GP will be hoping to see some improvements this weekend, as the circuit offers them a chance to pick up some valuable points. Our former rival Aurora Estevez over here. Kong Se-in would be one of the weakest drivers. He has a decent amount of potential though, which should help us see some improvement. He's pretty smooth, but he's not exactly the overtaking type, which isn't exactly very nice. Oh, that's really bad. 1 in overtaking? He's very smooth though. And he doesn't have a driver option, so we can't really use that. Shame. Any hoot, here's our situation now. Beijing is going to be annoyingly bad. 34 laps, which means we need to get probably 3 stops. Considering the performance of our car parts right now, I think okay, gonna help the reliability. Yes, thank you very much. That would be very, very helpful right now. One day after the race, unfortunately, but we can't really ask for more with that. Most of our parts are low quality. Decent performance nonetheless, but still, the reliability is questionable at best. We need more, we need some more development out there. At the very least, we have a good chance of getting 485,000 back, whether or not we get the sponsorship objective. Honestly, Nihon is the only one that's pretty close to reliable. The 13th in qualifying, not exactly good sign. I miss the days when we managed to get El Banco's sponsorship bonuses, but that's in the RS, and well, you can't really do much about that. This is going to be a high-speed circuit all on its own, as you can see with the engine, so we're gonna get some extra super softs maybe, and then a couple of softs, and then the rest of them will be mediums. Since it's Perez here, she'll get more of the softs. At least one super soft for qualifying, and then mediums. Honestly, I prefer having softs instead of mediums, but mediums are a bit more durable, so I think we're gonna go with that. The usual slowest tire for endurance tactic that we've been using. Can't really do much about this one either. Save it here. Then we're going to dive into the tarmac once again. Hopefully this time we'll do a bit better on the qualifying front, although I'm not very confident about that. So let's get down to things. Still a bit jarring to see Beijing early in the calendar, so to speak. Here's hoping we don't run into more trouble. This is an opening run and all. Very high chance that we might overrun some of the corners. Right, it's raining on practice day. That's just absolutely excellent. A run for speed, a bit of handling, understeer, and some reduce the aerodynamics. Need more speed out there. Gonna stick to intermediates for this. That's a bit of a problem because I want the medium tires to be our main starting force for driving, and without that, pretty much hanging on a thread here. So let's hope that it'll be raining for the rest of the weekend, so that I don't have to worry about speed that much. Okay, let's get this. No need to strip anything. Reliability is tantamount. I don't want to lose my car because we were a little too light. Now they're getting out into the wet road here. It's gonna be wet for at least 9 more minutes. Both going for intermediates, and Perez is leading the charge for this one. I don't know how long this will take. At least the setup knowledge seems to be going fast up there. And since there's not much of a change in the road layout, we need not worry about them not remembering things. Oh, bit of a stop there as we open the flying lap for both of our drivers, but unfortunately it's going to be really wet after this one. Hopefully it's just going to be wet and or damp at the very least, and not very wet, because I am not in the mood to switch to wets all over again. Perez now getting left behind. Ooh, responsive handling. Handling is spot on for Perez now. I guess we went a little too soft with Vosu for this setup. Good starting lap for both of our drivers. 118th for Vosu, 119th for Perez. Although, as expected, Armour was jumping ahead of them both. We don't have qualifying trim for these cars. Need more angle on the wing, though. Looks like Vosu is getting a lot more knowledge up, despite the fact that he's complaining about his car setup. Okay, wrong arrow setup here. Looks like there's just too little downforce. Even though it gives a bonus to the speed, I think this is a good jump up for a push both of our cars a bit more. We still got 7 minutes in practice at least, so I think we can work with that. It's gonna be real wet most of the run. I'm going to send Vosu in now. Perez can probably take more. Oh, I need more acceleration in the car. Okay. So going for full speed wasn't exactly a good idea for Vosu. Perez also complaining about focusing a little too much on the speed. I see, so we need a bit more of a balance there. Okay, Vosu is now entering with 3. Downforce is poor, handling is okay, speed balance is poor. Not exactly an encouraging sign for both of our drivers here. Too much downforce. A bit more responsive handling. I guess a bit more softer. A bit softer on the suspension. A bit more of a... Ooh, 20 seconds just to finish up that? Didn't have anything for qualifying trim. That's not a good sign. Perez is now finishing up her in-lap. I don't think she's going to be happy about the setup here. 5th and 7th now, with Perez ahead of her teammate in the standings, while Sue's dropping even further. With Chalsky ahead of us now, that's interesting. Lays Roiba as well. Okay, handling is good, but downforce and speed balance are poor. So I guess I need to make it a bit softer still. A bit softer. Go down for this. A bit more downforce maybe. Go with this for now, and then switch over to qualifying. Why can't I make them both do qualifying and race trim at the same time? I don't get it. Wonder if it's gonna be wet on the road. Everybody else seems to be switching over though. Hang on. Switching over to mediums. So it's gonna be a bit handling. Soft, some more downforce maybe. Okay, that should be enough. But that's gonna eat up on our parts. He's gonna be waiting for 30 seconds just to get that thing done in. And have to bring Vosu in now. Oh, Buenos Aires jumped up because of the drying weather conditions. We've only got 3.5 minutes, or 3 minutes 15 seconds left. We'll have to change Vosu out. At least we got a green on that one. Which one was that? Pretty decent on handling. Speed balance is a bit better now. I guess I need a bit more. Balance towards steer. Softer, maybe? Okay. A bit more downforce. No. Okay, let's see if this changes anything. Switching over 3 laps. Tire is going to be medium because we're going for durability rather than speed. Good thing we have an extra tire for qualifying. That super soft is going to help us in the future. Perez is still at 5th at the very least. Let's see if things will change once this last 2 minutes of practice goes up. Ooh. Went down to 6th after that run there with Chunison. Now we're going for a flying lap. 39% left on the tires. I don't know how far that's going to go for him or her. Should probably keep it at least until the end of the race. Downforce is feeling a bit off. What the heck? Well, that's going to make us cry. I have to make do with something else for this one, I'm afraid. Looks like Vosu will have to pray that he does not suffer any issues with his downforce, as we're already down to the last 10 seconds of practice, and there's not much we can do about the numbers. Okay, that's a pretty good jump for Vosu, though. Despite the fact that handling feels much worse and the aerodynamics is not exactly in the setup, he's up to 1st so far. I wonder if he can keep it up for the next for the final run of practice, though. Perez is stuck at 9th. There you go. Buenos Aires is now up at 1st, Vosu down to 2nd. Perez is dropping to 11th now. Despite the poor setup for Vosu's setup there, he finished the practice session at 2nd. Somi is nowhere near good enough to drive an APC. And despite the fact that Vosu was suffering from some really bad setups there, he is only 1/10 of a second behind Buenos Aires for practice. We would probably hope that we can use that for better performance in the actual race, but that's pretty much being a little too optimistic. Two slack jaws in the press room about Watson Industries' pace and practice. Very good job. Now, let's see if we can actually convert that in qualifying. I don't really trust it. We have not gotten any extra bonuses for medium tires. And we even... we only got level 1 on these guys, so I don't think we're going to be using them. Pit stop refueling. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use this. Wait, I can't use this? Okay, it's gonna be useful in the actual race, so we're gonna use that instead of a tire performance boost. Gonna have to use this one. This is the better performance mostly. Gonna use that soft, or super soft. Keep these. No weight stripping. I'm not going to lose reliability on the parts I have. Can I just simulate the session? I feel like I'm better off simulating the session rather than taking it on qualifying. Nah, we need to do this properly. Oh, they're heading out on a straight and then they're gonna go on a corner. Max it out since they're heading out on a straight. Then cold. Well, it is the outlap, so oh wait. Come on. Dang it. I shouldn't have done this with both of them. Maybe I should have done this one after the other. Brakes are annoyingly difficult to maintain. Yeah, it's the brakes that are annoying. I can keep the tire temperatures within perfect conditions, but I can't get the brakes out. And since we only have 10 minutes for qualifying, it gets a little bit more unnerving to try to keep the balance out for speed and all that. Here's hoping we actually get some decent numbers at the very least, though I don't think we're going to qualify pretty well, even here in Beijing. There's also the issue that we don't have enough performance for durability, so we'll have to rely on the mediums to be a bit more durable rather than very decently performing as far as speed is concerned, just so we can survive Beijing with a decent amount of points, if we can score points, that is. Not too confident. That was a pretty good start on the lap, though I feel like we're gonna get lapped here either way. Yep, I knew it. Armo was right there, 7/10 of a second. Wachowski now coming ahead of us too. So is Centauri and Buenos Aires. If we can at least stay above 10th, I'll be happy with that. But I don't think we're going to be having a good time with that either. There, Perez is about to be thrown off the top 10. Jellyfist looking menacing with that purple on his timer. Yep, there they go. Bosu is now out of the running. Or rather, Perez there. Previous one, okay. Bit more downforce, maybe? No. No, let's just keep this. A little too afraid about getting something out of that. Keep the numbers okay. Bosu is hanging on, but very, very fair. Never mind. Amachi just threw him off. Now Bosu is out on 11th. It's the brakes. It's always the brakes. I don't get it. What is wrong with keeping those brakes? I don't really understand how they get too hot. Is it really just the parts, or am I just doing something very wrong about the clear air optimization? Oh, good. Brakes are a little overheated though, so that's gonna drop them. Let's see if we're gonna get anywhere decent for this. I don't believe we're gonna get anywhere decent in qualifying. Still only 3 minutes left. Oof, pretty lame. Yeah, Vosu might be dropped to 12th at this rate, and then we still got Davis, Stephenson, and Centauri. Perez jumps ahead of Stephenson for some reason. We only got 2 minutes left. Can we still try for another run? One more attempt at qualifying. It's telling me the tires are still the same. Okay, we still got enough time for the tires, I think. brakes. I just can't get how the brakes go. It's only good. I don't think Vosu is going to keep his 12th place run here. Perez is now down to 19th. They're going to have to make or break here, as we're now just running for the last attempt at qualifying. I don't think we're going to get a good run out of this. Maybe I'm just going to simulate this because it's annoyingly tricky. Nope, sorry Vasu, we can't take any more attempts at that. I guess I really need to get a better set of brakes now, because that was annoying. Really bad show there. No chance at all. Yeah, I agree with this one, unfortunately. Anything other than Inmanol Armo on pole would be a shock, but then anything can happen. It's kind of annoying that we can't really do much in terms of numbers here, because there's something about the brakes that, or the setup with the brakes I have right now that's not really helping much. Alright, let's just put this on since that's the only available one. Get to pit stop, refueling bonuses out there. Hopefully we can get something out of this at least. Although, because of the downforce issues, I don't think I'm going to get anything out of that. I could probably increase it a bit more. It's like that. We're going for durability. Or, yeah, durability, so we're going to go with the slowest tires on the track. Especially since we're in the back. Bit shorter, 18 to 20 laps. We'll take it. Thankfully, because Perez has pit stop or refueling guru, we don't have to worry as much about taking longer on the runs for or in the pit lane for refueling. But at the very least, I love her to have it much faster than auto on. You guys handle that on your own. I don't care. Oof, bad start for Bosu. He's now down at 14th. Ah, somebody ran wide. Zardo ran wide. That was a bad start for the pace leader. She's now down at 11th. Bosu has a chance to get ahead of her in this one if he gets moving more. And there he goes. But the teammates, Benazardo and Stephenson, or rather Benazardo and Lee, helping each other out to keep, or rather the teammates Lee and Stephenson working with each other to keep Vosu away from Buenozardo. Tire wear, a bit of a problem here. Might have to push both of our drivers for now. Although I think since their tire heating is normal, we just have to go drive at it. Some of them are already using ERS on the straights. Understandable, really. Perez has gone down to 19th, unfortunately. And Vosu is dropping as well. He's now down to 16th. Absolutely not a fan of these ERS things. Keeping him on charge. Tunison is now on the lead. Vosu has dropped to 17th with Lee now ahead of him. Bit of a weird start here with lap 3 in the horizon. Wuchalski is now leading the lower half of this pack of racers. Surprising change in the lineup here. After that first turn incident with Buenozardo, she's now back in 3rd. Trying to get back on the lead, but Tunison and Ribeiro are keeping her away from the top of the box. Bosu gets overtaken by an ERS-supported Davis, and he is now down to 18th. Davis still pushing it. A bit a bit of some power charging for the Canadian. And she's still running pretty decently with her ERS on that straight. Just before the home corner. Stephenson pushing up with the bits of ERS as well. But Davis is getting ahead of her all the same. Oh, the tires are really low. I thought they were going to be a bit hard, a bit hotter than this. I guess the mediums aren't exactly having... Perez has now dropped to 20th, Vosu at 18th. I guess I expected these tires to be a bit more, a bit less on the durability side, a bit more on the heating side, but I think I got my numbers mixed up. Oh, Santori pushing up with some ERS there. Now has overtaken both of our drivers. We are now all in the back. I don't think we're going to last much longer. Still a lot of ERS up front. I don't know if we're going to hit our sponsorship objectives at this rate. Starting lap 6, really bad start for our boys, or for our boy and girl. Everybody else going for the ERS. I don't think I want to use that power right now. We're well behind. We'll keep it for when we can really take advantage of things. Because using the ERS here in the back is just going to make us waste some energy. Remember, Perez has fuel bonuses thanks to her mechanic, while Vosu is a bit lighter on the fuel, or lighter on the fuel usage at least. Now it's only Esteva and Sylvander in the lower half of the grid who are using softs for some reason. Everybody else has gone for... Everybody else is in mediums, as is the usual. Well, up on top, we got Tunis and Ribeiro and Tianuna now in the top 3, starting up lap 7 with a rather strange switch-up. Vosu is still within striking range of most of the other drivers, but he just can't overtake them, which is a bit of a shame, really. Remember, we're going for endurance rather than speed, so we're gonna have to wait until we can get enough space here as we start lap 8. Everybody else is on the back. What? What do you mean the engine readout reads weird? Crap. Her engine reliability rating is still pretty low. Not good. Oh yeah, because she's using the new one. Or rather, Vosu is using the new one, so his reliability is a bit low. So we'll have to back it down a bit. And we're now starting with 26 laps to go, and our driver is still way behind. Looks like we got some of the race leaders already pitting for tires. That jumps Vosu a bit, but that's not going to keep him alive for another run. As Tianuna is looking to overtake him at the next slow hairpin. Vosu, meanwhile, is trying to defend earnestly. Ooh, Tunison has some parts problems. That's not a good sign. Too bad we can't take advantage of that because we're way behind. Now we got lap 10. And a lot of guys are also switching out for durability as well. There's Vosu, he's now down to 15th, might be going down to 16th, yep. Buenos Aires using her ERS to push her up there. Perez is in 17th, but it's not exactly looking too hot for the Frenchie, as Tunison and Amachi are really closing in on her with ERS-powered cars as well. Now it's the start of lap 11, and we're not looking too hot so far, but I think we're in a decent spot, all things considered. Oh, Amachi, there it is. She's now ahead of Perez, using her ERS to get close to Vosu as well. Meanwhile, on the top, we got Buchalski ready to switch out. She's the only one with super softs right now. Armoa, meanwhile, is already down at 31%. There's a good chance he will pit later on. Not looking too hot for everybody else here. Oof, almost got overtaken by Machi on a wide corner there, but Wasu luckily managed to defend there at the last spot. Buchalski is now in the pit lane. She's gotten overtaken by the rest of the grid on the upper half. She is now down to 18. Took a while for her to switch out their tires. I don't know what happened there. Buchalski is now in 19th. That's a really weird spot. Still good on ERS for both of our drivers, but we're starting to see some tire wear now, and it might be a good chance to balance things down a bit. Maybe not. Let's push it to the limit after all. Since we're going to be switching to softs after this one, and then we'll switch to supers towards the end. But Tunizin, meanwhile, is getting ready to push Perez out of here. And probably has a ERS to boot. Up a bit of a pit lane change with Bosu and Armoa having some problems with their cars just before the start of lap 13 for both of these drivers. Almost got overtaken on the late braking there, but Perez manages to block Tunizin at the last second. We might have to switch tires here, as the drivers are now, Perez is now down to 27%, Vosu is down to 34%, so Perez is going to be switching after this lap. Oof, she just lost her 14th place spot here to Tunizin, who's now using, okay, we're going to pit her out for an extra set of mediums maybe, or we can switch her out to softs now. Keep the fuel at the same spot. Can we fix anything? Nope, we can't, unfortunately. Okay. Nope, no need to charge anything. Balanced should be safe, although there's a 15% chance of error, so that's a problem. Meanwhile, Vosu is now down to 30% on his tires, and might need to rest up a bit, as he is now really bad with his car parts. We want to push him a bit further, but with the engine at 26% this early in the run, there's a good chance he might retire if we do that. So we're going to have to wait until we're up and further in the run before we go for it. He is using his ERS though, so that's going to help him keep up the run. Now Perez is down to 18th, but she has switched to soft, so she's probably going to be able to get some good runs out of that. Wasu almost ready to lose his 11th spot with Armoa coming alongside him. Gonna have to pit him around as well. Probably gonna switch him off to softs. No need to... Maybe we need to get some fuel out of that. Maybe not. 31 seconds to get the engine. Nah, I don't think that's a good idea. Keep balanced. We'll have to concede the 11th spot here for Vosu before the start of lap 16. Now remember, we still have to worry about his engine durability, so we have to avoid pushing it until we're just about ready to drop in. Oof! Perez almost ran into her teammate there. Bit of a brake check from Vosu. Gonna have to conserve this. Keep the tires within a decent amount of durability while maintaining tire wear. Unfortunately, start of lap 17 sees both of our drivers way in the back. Not much of a change in positioning. I don't think we're going to be able to score any points either. Although, there's a good chance that things might start to get wet towards the end of lap 20, so we can probably switch things up from there, and then and get some refueling on the way as well. Oof. Bosu gets overtaken by Davis with an ERS overtake on that home corner. That's a lot of pit lane changes for most of the upper part leaders over there in the back. And now we're starting lap 18th with a bit of a switch up. 18. Okay. Gonna have to switch tires soon, though. I feel like we're gonna be seeing some intermediates in a couple. Gonna need some fuel for that as well. Time to push the attack a bit more, as we still got a decent amount of time before we can switch out. Yep, I'm already ordering you to push. Just keep pushing. Dang it. Right, a bit of a jump there. 14 and 15 for our drivers, but we're looking at a possible change in positions here. The rain is going to start soon, so I think I might send Perez over to a cold run at the start of lap 21. We're sending her in to go for inters. Full fuel. Is there any part we can fix? Front wing, maybe. Fine, let's go with that. Maintain a balanced pit strategy. We'll have Vosu run towards the end of until the end of lap 26, maybe. Then we'll have Perez handle most of the refueling there. Okay, that should be enough. Let's put him down to neutral again. Starting lap 21, and our drivers are still in the back. Sylvander, for some reason, is the only one with super softs this early in the race. Stephenson trying to get some space using ERS, and here we go. The rain is coming in. Rippiness will be an issue towards the end, so we're going to have to get some extra fuel here. 2 laps, what? Engine is now down to 20%, and the front wing is down to 36. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to survive this, but... well, here's hoping we got Perez the right amount of fuel for this one. Bosu did use his ERS to conserve on fuel, so there's a lot less to worry about as far as refueling is concerned, but his ERS recharge is now back to 6%. Now, we'll have to hope that he can roll up with some decent amount of pushing here. While Perez is down in 19th, she's got excess fuel, a near full battery for the ERS, and a decent amount of tire reliability, so we can still probably get some points up, though I don't think we're going to be able to make it towards the end of... we're going to make it towards the upper half of this segment. So we're just going to pray that both of our drivers manage to survive. Getting a bit of a push-up here. What? Why did Vosu switch out tires? Dang it! Ah. Why did he not switch out tires? What did I do? I don't know what I did, but it was a really big mistake on our part. Perez now using her ERS to... ooh, Parker ran really wide. What the heck happened there? "12 laps to go, and both of our drivers are still well behind. I don't know if that's going to be a good sign or not. Looks like some of the other drivers did not switch out at all. Might be switching out towards the end of their tire lives? I don't know. Wasu is now down to 19th. Make that 20th as Shunizan gets ahead of him. Perez is making use of her ERS now to help conserve on tires. Let's see if that's going to get us anywhere decent. Doesn't look like it. Everything else seems to be cleaned up. We've only got 10 laps to go here, so I feel like everybody else up front is going to be ready to go in, or rather keep their places. Oh wait, never mind. Looks like we're seeing a lot of pit changes rather late in the start of lap 25. Rather late in lap 24, just before lap 25, rather. Perez still using her ERS to conserve on fuel. Might have to push that a bit. Okay, a few parts loose now. Might have to balance things out by being a bit on the medium side. Now you can handle it. I'm sure you can handle it. 9 laps to go and our drivers are still way behind. I don't think we're going to be able to do anything about that. Although Perez managed to score 1 over Tunisian, there's still a bit of issue at the start of lap 27. Wasu is now down to 7% on his engine. Let's hope he doesn't retire from this one. That poor, the poor thing about, the poor mistake we had with the pit stop didn't do anything. I have no idea why I clicked on that without changing any of his tires. Did a really bad number for him, although he's still in 14th. Now everybody's on intermediates. At least get Perez up to 11th or 10th, and then we'll be good. Although some of our parts are also getting really hairy right now. Wasu might lose his 14th spot to Lee, though, and that's going to be a real problem. Start of lap 29. Our drivers are still out here in the back. And now Perez. Oh no! Wasu has retired! The engine was a little too low performance for his liking. We're gonna have to worry about that next time. Perez now down to 12th as Tunisian gets ahead of him. And they're not too healthy. Couldn't keep it to the end of the race. 5 laps to go. Perez might still be able to get something out of this, but her tires aren't looking too happy. And Amachi, despite the injury, is now ahead. Perez going down to 13th on this one by the looks of it. Still got 4 laps to go, and Perez is still on the bottom of lap 30. Parts conditions not looking too hot, but the gear might be able to survive this. He's gonna have to go for neutral. Ah, dang it, Davis gets ahead. Perez is now down to 13th. Tunisian is up to 11th. Davis pushing further with the ERS. I don't know how Perez is gonna roll out here. Ooh, she's now down to 13th. A little push. Didn't do anything with that, I'm afraid. Let's just hope we can finish this with enough fuel to go. No, this is not good. She's not going to keep it there. She's now down to 16% on her tires. I don't think we're going to be making better than 13 for this one. Here's hoping that 7% isn't going to be bad enough. It's now approaching the final lap. And by the looks of it, Perez might drop down to 14th again. Lee just about overtaking her. Not too happy about this performance, both because I made the mistake of putting Wasu out without doing anything with his tires, and then we just had to let everybody else run there. Oh, what? Lee ran wide on that one. I don't know what happened to him, but he definitely gave away a good spot there. Too bad we can't take advantage of it even further than that. And now we'll have to sell the 15th. Really shameful about what we did to Wasu. He's definitely not going to be happy about that. I'm sure his morale is going to drop even further than it is now. Although I think we only did 2 stops. I thought we were going to need 3. I guess the ERS did help them. Yep, we only did 2. Except for Wasu, who had to do with 3. Scrutineering. I don't think we made any violations, did we? No, we didn't. Thankfully, nobody else did. Zardo gets a 2-point pole position bonus, but that does not help him or help her get up to be on 3rd. Drops her 2 places. Really bad jump there. Both of our drivers went down, but we're still in 9th for some reason. I think the chairman will be happy with that, but that would be really funny if we survive the first Asia Pacific Super Cup season by being ninth. Despite the errors there, oh crap. The stats went down. Despite the errors there, Wasu's driver form is still at 8.5, which is kind of weird. Although the points going down is a bit of an issue. Is it because, oh no, please don't tell me it's because he's already reaching the peak of his ability and he's going really bad. He's one of our best paying drivers. I can't afford to lose him now. Lost some points in the stars as well. Yeah, he's getting old too, so we'll have no choice but to find a replacement for him soon enough. Problem is, without a decent replacement that's also a paid driver, it's going to be really difficult funding our projects. We still get some money out of that though, which is I think ideal, though I would have preferred a higher payout. What else are we looking at? Our condition update. Ooh, really bad drops there. The reliability wasn't too up there. We've only got 50. We got a drop of 52% for Bossu and 54 for Perez. It's gonna take 34 hours to fix everything. Change of morale there. Okay, pit crew. 2 second was a. That was the mistake. That was the poor pit. That was nearly just putting on the latch. But we did have no mistake. We did have a no mistake weekend, so that's a good one. So the fact that the normal pit crew mistake rate for that leg was 15% means that the next one here in Doha is going to be really bad. I don't like our chances here. Okay, Zach Orm's consistent, but he is not very focused, so that's not going to be useful. Schmutzer. Passive. Fun runner. He's got decent stats, but he's poor at cornering, so I don't think we can take advantage of that. Yeah, that's understandable. All of the best drivers are currently signed with the higher classes, so I can't really use that. Any more days? 7 days. The Rex race is at least in 24, so there might be some time to work on that. Okay, car repair is complete at least, so that's a good sign. That scared the hell out of me. What was that sound? 6 days and 9 hours to get the new parts out. It's a gearbox, by the way. We'll probably get this one upgraded. Well, one of the other gearboxes is going to be improved. Okay, improve this one. Where's my gearbox? Improve the reliability. Performance is decent so far. So what I need to do is improve the reliability of everything else. The rear wings are now at full reliability, so that should be decent. What we need to, oh, spots there. I need the engine to be improved further. That 40% really hurt our chances of getting in at least an extra point for Vosu. We did lose a lot of spots there for mechanic relationships. Jessica Legg's about to end her contract at the end of the season. I wonder if she'll renew with us though. Cecilia Cardenas will be a low-quality driver in the Asia Pacific Super Cup, but she has the ability to improve in a very strong champion into a very strong driver within the championship. She's good at cornering, but she's awful at feedback. Ooh, born leader and security guard. But she's gonna be awful at feedback. I need someone who's good at feedback and who's also pretty decent at pay stuff. So even with her good cornering, smoothness, adaptability, and consistency as well as fitness, I don't think I want to sign her up right now. Mm, if she had great feedback, I could probably sign her up, but the problem is she doesn't. And I need somebody who's good at feedback so we'll have no problem, whoa, I forgot something. So we'll have no serious issues with the, I wasted a lot of money for that. Hang on. Okay, I need better brakes. So I'm gonna need, I need a reduction in red zone. Although I could probably cut off the reduction cost, and then we'll go for red zone reduction for the higher up. So let's just get something that's decent. Good to build. 4 days and 10 hours. Decent enough. I'll take that. Okay, let's go elsewhere. Designing new brakes will be finished in a couple. 2 days and 3 hours, actually. 19 days before the race. So I can probably reduce the reliability on this one. It's happening in Beijing after we left that. Oh, Naito! Alongside his new teammate Fatima Tarasenko are on top for Beijing. Pascal Becker showing up for Panther. And now the Scuderia Rossini dominance from earlier has been replaced by Steinman once again showing up to the podium. Tarasenko still at first, and now Naito snatching third from Balcazar, who appears to have not. No, yeah, she has not scored anything in Beijing, dropping in a really bad 6th spot. Poor drivers, poor car. Wait, Firebird. I forgot Firebird was in the Asia Pacific Super Cup. Okay, let's continue on. New brakes are now complete. Let's check out the car. Okay, I can now improve reliability of that brake set. 2 days after the race, and the race is in 8. Okay, let's get a new brake. So that's red zone. And build time. Plus 2 days. Deceleration plus 25. And reliability plus 5. Now, this would have been better as far as potential is concerned, but the fact that it has a 2 max quantifier in it means I'll have to work extra just to get that bonus. So I'd rather go with something that already has a full setup here with a 25-point deceleration boost over something that has 20 or 35, but still needing an extra to pinch up. Though, honestly speaking, though, it does have a decent amount of starting. Oh no, it doesn't have a decent amount of starting, but it has a higher potential a higher potential performance. But if I want to go ready and hot right now, I'd probably work better with this. There's also reliability boost, so that's a plus. Let's go with that. We can worry about the wings later. Gonna need to fit some of these parts. Okay. Engine. Something better than that. What? Hmm. Anything else? Okay, the car is looking like rubbish, I understand. Anything else? Well, we can't really do much about the suspension right now. We'll have to make do with all we've got. Or we got these guys listed. At least get them up to 80, maybe. Yeah, up to maybe 80. And we've already got another setup coming in. Just save that. Our main issue now is whether or not we can at least snatch enough points to stay in the Asia Pacific Super Cup. Although it's very likely that we will be relegated back to the European Racing Series after this. Oh, no. I saw that. Another love advice thing? I don't like that. So here's where we cry. Doha is going to be a 25 lap race, so I'm going to assume we can probably do it with one stop. Lap record's 148. Unsurprisingly for Doha, the race should be bone dry with a 0% chance of rain. Front wings, though, is going to be issue, and unfortunately we didn't focus any on that. Gonna have to pray. Soft, medium, hard. Fairly good track for tire wear, and our car is pretty excellent at that, so we don't have to worry about that much. Milot Flippo. Weakest driver, but he is with a decent amount of potential. That's only gonna put him at the better list. Good at braking, but he's not exactly the overtaking type. Be focused. Yeah, that's excellent braking actually. 18? Very fit to boot, but he's not exactly the overtaking type, not very smooth, and his cornering needs a lot of work. Although, considering his age, there's a good chance we can jump him up. Too bad he's only a 3-star, and he doesn't have any pay driver bonuses, because that would have been really helpful. Now we're down to 3 more drivers. We'll have to make a choice here, because I don't think Vosu is going to stay with us. Okay, anything that strengthens the commercial arm of the team is good news, and having one of the most marketable teams in the Asia Pacific Super Cup puts us in a superb position to sign the most lucrative sponsorship deals. I don't think that's going to last for long, though. Okay, Sandy Thornton would be one of the weakest drivers in the Cup, but she has a decent amount of potential, which should help us see some improvement. She's consistent, but she's not focused. How does that work? Oh, that focus is awful. That braking is awful. And secret of hauling tryout, not bad, but that's a lot of good space for improvement. Too bad she's not improving fast enough. But she is just a 16-year-old, so there's a good chance we can probably make something out of her. Too bad she's not the type that has pay driver options, so it's about my other half. I know she's not perfect, but at my age, I should start selling for what I can get. Do you think I should? I thought you already married her, dude. What the heck? Something doesn't feel right here. Like changeable conditions. See, it's already here. You want me to replace that? Uh, Personality trait, feeling blue. Follow your heart. See, I don't get it. Why do I have this dilemma again? He's already married. No matter. It's gonna. Don't tell me it's gonna stack. You, it can't be stacking, right? Okay, it's still the same, but we get just married again? Like, did you guys split up? I don't get it. It's confusing. How the hell did he get this? How the hell did he get this dilemma again? Hang on, just checking something on my feed. Okay, back on the road for this one. We got how many days? 5 days for the next part to arrive. That's gonna be late for Doha. Not much to worry about there. Speaking of, ooh, classic Dubai. It is that time of the year in the ERS for that. It looks like Octane is pushing up. Haidar Hornblatt scores 20 points for that one. Philip Ward from Vexal and Motorsport is at second, and Colin Balkan from Garuda is at third. Any other names we recognize? Well, Dragon Race Team China is doing pretty decently here. With at least somewhere in the lower end of mid-pack. Who the hell is Monk? I can tell you it's second there. Who else is up? Sponsors are now down to second again. Ruiz is still on top as far as sponsors are concerned. We still do not have any points. I don't like the signs of that. And somebody got their design center upgraded. Okay, Keyta once again expected up front, although Esteban Ribeiro is expected to follow up his race in Beijing. Anything other than 10th? What, you're gonna drop us even further? We're already pretty low as it is. Also would be a low-quality driver, but he has a good chance to be one of the better ones. He's a good cornering expert, but he's not exactly the smooth type. Wow, buddy, just wow. Wow. I can't say anything else about that, but wow. We've only got the Indian Chandi Banguera and the Italian Giammario Rappa on the list. Not too confident about these numbers. The vote on a Global Motorsport Association on Wednesday will decide whether or not the APS Roadshow will roll into the UK next year. Oh, it's going to be Guildford. Judging by the circuit layout, the track in Guildford is likely to be good news for Watson Industries, whose car would be likely to perform well. It's always great to visit a new circuit, she says. Which is kind of funny because we've been having a lot of trouble in Guildford over the past years with the ERS, so I don't know where this is coming from, except from Mad Lips, of course. They are just fillers. 10 team bosses of the Asia Pacific Super Cup form the GMA's board, and the votes they cast will have a huge impact on the way the next season championship will play out. I don't know what we're going to be seeing there, but I don't feel like we're going to be seeing any good stuff. Okay. Gonna be sticking with Nippon on this one again. I don't think we're gonna get any decent amount for that, and I'm pretty sure we're not gonna get a lot of money still. Okay, this is the first time I'm seeing hards on the road. Give me 5. Okay, no. 3 softs. 2 softs, lots of hards. A couple of mediums. Okay, that should be enough. Parts should be the same. Not too confident about this. I have not used hard tire compounds before, so this is going to be a first. I'm going to just probably simulate practice. Wait a second. Doha? Is that really the Doha circuit? Because I feel like this looks more like the doesn't this look more like the Yas Marina than the Doha circuit to you? Like, I mean, they really can't get the actual circuit layouts because they don't really have the license, but still, that's really weird seeing them like this. Okay, we're gonna go for both hards, and it's going to be a bit balanced on acceleration there. So, just maybe some oversteer. Gonna go for hards. Wings up. Okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, go for practice. Not much for, not so much for qualifying. I'm not too sure we can get anything on. Oh crap, I forgot. No, they're both at hard, qualifying and race trim for this one at least. A lot of helicopters are expected of the Doha circuit. Lots of yachts as well. Hit a bad roll there. Let's see if things change once we've reached the push-up point of the flying lap. Okay, nice aero setup apparently. Although setup knowledge is a bit low for both of our drivers right now. This road is a little too long. It's already 9.5 minutes and they haven't even started or gone into the full length of their practice run just yet. That's not a good sign. Yeah, we're not getting good times here. Buenos Aires is already getting some purples. Penling's feeling superb at least, so that's a good sign. Arrow setup is wrong. I need more downforce. Got you. Perez is having some downforce issues. I think we're gonna lose the numbers here heavily. Yep. Buenos Aires and Armoa getting up ahead. Wasu also getting there, but he's down to or she's down to third. He's down. It's a guy. Okay. Let's just get this done a bit. Wasu's already heading out or heading back in. Perez drops down to 12th, Wasu down to 9th. It's already 6 minutes in, and the setup knowledge is really bad. Gonna send Perez in next. Okay, downforce is excellent. Speed is great. It's the handling that needs more work. So does he want to be a bit more, want it to be a bit more responsive or a bit less? Okay, a bit more responsive. So it's gotta be harder. Okay, and switch it over to qualifying and race trim 3 laps. Keep the same tires, and then roll with it. That's a pretty short exit, and it has to be a hairpin exit of all things. Perez is now up to 14th at least, but Wasu is still pretty low on the lap numbers. Not a good sign for our main driver. Well, technically they're equals, but I usually treat Vosu more as a #1 driver because of his skill ceiling. Speaking of skill ceiling, his stats are going down really badly because he's getting old. Downforce and handling need some work. But the speed balance is decent enough. Definitely gonna need some more, probably some understeer there. More downforce apparently, so somewhere around. Okay, that should be enough. Extra tire pressure for extra handling support. Speed balance should be okay. Extra. Okay, get me some more for that. We haven't reached qualifying trim level 1 at all. Definitely need a lot of work for that. Race trim also not getting anything out of that as well. Not a good sign. Perez goes down to 16th as Lee gets ahead of her on the outlap timer. Buchalski is now top of the scoreboard here with 1 minute 45 seconds. Getting ahead of Buenazardo about 1800ths of a second. Now we're down to the last 3 minutes of practice, and we still need to work on getting at least the race trim to level 1. Perez is now starting her flying lap. Bossou, meanwhile, has already finished his, and he is entering with medium setup knowledge. Does he have enough time to get out there and fix another run on practice? That is the question. I don't think so. He's still halfway through the circuit on his in-lap, taking a bit too long to come back in. Arrow's feeling great right now. Ooh, hard tires level 2. Really decent on that one. Nice job on handling, it's much better. I need at least race trim level 1, guys. Come on. Oh, that's great. Get out there and get some more numbers, Vosu. Perez getting a jump dramatically to 13th in the timesheets, at least. I don't think Vosu is going to be able to get anything out, but at the very least, we might be able to get some race trim. Maybe not. Waiting for other cars to finish. Vosu is going for his in-lap. Too slow to get out on the out-lap there. At least get us race trim level 1, please. I need this. No, we're not gonna get it. It was just a pin away, and we didn't have enough prep time to get it to level 1 race trim, so that's gonna be sad. Agostini having some really bad shots here. Chelsky doing really great in practice. So is Buenazardo. Now, I don't want to see the mess of qualifying here anymore, so I'm just gonna... Hard tires and qualifying trim? Yeah, that's not really useful. We didn't even get race trim. Handling could have done better. Oh well. No two ways about it. Let's just simulate the session. We really can't get past them. 17th, 18th, that's even worse than what I do. What the heck? Not a good sign for our drivers, or we're not getting anywhere near that. Yep, definitely not quite in it today. Esprit GP not getting strays for their colors setup selection for some reason. I'm not very confident about this. even with the simulated qualifying numbers, making it look even worse than what we thought it would be. I can't use anything else. We'll just have to go with this. Keep the car set up as it is. Everything should be okay for now. Fine, get this one. I don't really have any use for that. Oh crap, I switched out the tire colors! Ugh. I made the mistake of playing with soft and mediums. I should have gone for hards. What the heck am I doing? Well, can't do anything about that. And we'll just have to make do with what we have here. Dellingfist ran really wide. Almost crashes a barrier in the opening corner to boot. Meanwhile, Vosu trying his level best to stay in the pace here. But he's down to 15th. Make that 16th as Esteban gets ahead of him. Perez still stuck in 19th with the medium tires. Looks like we made a mistake. We forgot to switch out the tires here. Oh, ooh, that's Vosu and Perez jumping ahead, but Esteban's blocking Perez now. And now both of our drivers are behind Esteban and Mac DC saw me. Bit of a rough patch here because of the wrong tire selection, so it's going to be really, really difficult keeping them in the run for this one. Now we're starting the run for lap 2, and Sylvander scores fastest lap. I don't know if he's gonna keep it there. Bosu trying to keep his position, but he can't defend against Esteban with the power, or the ERS power on. Now Delinkvist, who ran wide, is up to 19th. Perez is now in 20th. Bosu drops in 19th place. Both of our drivers now in the back. Now the durability of the tires will come into question as everybody else has hards and we're going with this faster tire compounds. Bit of a mistake on our part since we didn't switch them out before we started the race. Not exactly looking too hot for me right now. Now we've got 23 laps remaining, and things may not be as good as we projected. That's 2, make that 3 mistakes today. Not exactly reflecting well on our performance. And now Perez is complaining about not being able to overtake her teammate. I don't get where she's coming from with that. It's annoying that despite the fact that we have faster compound, we still cannot overtake drivers with the slower ones. And we have to be conservative with our tires as well because of the mistakes we made. Oof, that ERS push is a really annoying thing. Perez almost overtaking Vosu on the opening corner, but Vosu manages to defend against her for some reason. Up at front, we got Bonazardo, Bajalski, Chunison, and Amachi for the top 4. Lays Royba goes down to 5th. And the previous fastest lap holder, Sylvander, is at 6th. Ribeiro is now up to 9th with Stephenson switching out. Stephenson drops down to 12th over there. It looks like there was a bit of an issue on the overtake near the opening, or near the home corner. Was Hughes switching up the ERS, going for 11th, and taking over Tia Nuna's spot. Now we're struggling with Esteban in 18th. Davis and Lee switching spots. Still no change for both of our drivers as our tires are starting to get really, really rough. With Perez down to 71, Vosu down to 69. Tire temperature is still pretty decent though. Oh, Perez finally gets one over a teammate. But that's not really going to mean much unless they can make some headway into the upper ranks. Tianuen is still at 11th with Ribeiro now up to 10th. 20 laps to go as we start lap 6. Amachi going for a push-up but can't get past Tunizen. Well, Sylvander is now up to 5th after Lays Royba goes down. Although Armola uses his ERS to get ahead, and Armo is now in 5th. Might see a bit of a change here as we are starting to see some tires going down, but we might not see any pit crew changes until later as we start lap 7. Really far behind for both of our drivers. Perez now way ahead of Bossou, despite the fact that she's using mediums. Oh, Bossou takes advantage of that slow corner. Too bad he can't keep it in as Perez manages to sneak things up. I think Bossou's performance is starting to really go down now. Because of his age, we might have to send him out and after his contract ends, but that means we're going to have to worry about getting a new driver. Especially one that has a marketability boost. Oof, Perez is now down to 20th with 18 laps to go. You know, up front, Parker goes up to 10th. Stephenson is now down to 12th. Dahlqvist at 13th. Ribeiro is once again leading the back markers. Buenos Aires is now on top, but there's a good chance she'll have to switch out tires soon. Still not much of an issue in durability for both of our drivers there in the back, but we really can't take advantage of the fact that we're well behind and everybody else is on hards. It's going to be a bit tough trying to keep the tires durable for at least a couple more laps as we start lap 9. Buchalski now snatches fastest lap and being on top. There's a couple of pit changes up on the back here. That's going to give some space for both of our drivers, but I don't think they're going to last much longer. With Bossou already looking at Perez, and Esteban getting ahead even though she was in the pit lane a bit longer than everybody else. Bossou. It's Bossou, not Bossou. Dang it. Keep mixing. Oop. Uh-oh, Davis cut a corner. That's gonna be a mark. Gonna be a bit of a time penalty for the Canadian. Now we're starting lap 16, and we're still here in the back marker, and we've got a good amount of... Ooh, Buenos Aires snatching fastest lap. A bit of a surprise there. We got some overtakes again, but I don't think that's really going to matter much, as our drivers are still in the 16th and 17th places. Not a lot of improvement there. We're going to make some changes soon, though, as it looks like Bossou is now down at 37 and Perez is at 39. Perez overtaken by Bossou with his ERS on the run there. And Bossou himself failed to defend against the Frenchman. So now both of our drivers at 17th and 18th. And Armoa snatches fastest lap again. Real tight fight for fastest lap up front. While our drivers here in the back markers are struggling to at least get to the sponsor objective, which I don't think we'll be able to reach at all. Bit of a change is in order here. We might have to switch out. Couldn't take advantage of the hards, unfortunately. Now Bossou is attempting to get past Bossou at the start of lap 12. He's getting some good runs on the straights, but having trouble keeping the corners safe, although he did manage to sneak an overtake there. Just braking a little too early. He might lose it at the corners. Perez also sneaking now behind Bossou. Wonder if she can take advantage of that. Buchalski surprisingly in the back there, but could probably switch out soon. Now we're seeing some changes here. We might have to switch out Bossou again. I'm gonna go for mediums for this one. Gonna have to get some fuel in his car as well, but that's gonna drop him way back. Let's put some front wing fix-ups there. Wanna go for safe? Nah, we're already behind as is. Let's go and risk it. Perez is now down to 16th as Bossou is overtaken by Dahlqvist. Make that 17th as Lee gets ahead of her as well. 13 laps to go for our drivers here. Whoa. Whoops. There goes Vosu, now down to 17th. We're gonna have to send Perez up as well. Ooh. Okay, there is a bit of a 1-second drop there. Front wings, ooh. Alright, let's just take that. Let's hope we don't have any mistakes here. Okay, no mistakes on our part here, but Vosu is still in the back. And Perez is definitely gonna drop some points as well. Everybody else has also gone for endurance, with some of them in mediums. It's like everybody has gone for for the one-stop tactic as well, because it is just 25 laps after all. Perez will have to concede her 16th place spot here at the beginning of lap 14th as she goes for a pit stop. There she is. Let's hope she doesn't run into any mistakes. No mistakes there at least, but she's still down in 20th. Vosu, meanwhile, going for some energies running with the ERS. Going for fuel conservation instead of running with the full out power. Perez has gone for that as well. Now we're starting lap 15 with 11 laps to go. Both of our drivers still behind, and we might see some changes up front. If we can take advantage of them, we can probably put our drivers a bit further up on the team standings. But that requires a little more push from both Perez and Vosu, as most of the guys that need switching are all up front. If we could have just stayed with hards at the start of the race, we could have kept our position in the middle. Unfortunately, the race principle has been really out of focus today. Or the team principle, rather. So we'll just have to make do with what we have. Now it's lap 16, 10 laps to go. Still no sign of a change from those up front, and both of our drivers are way behind. 45 and 48 seconds behind, respectively. At least we're not getting blue flagged, like in Singapore. Uh-oh. Brakes now having a bit of an issue, but it's thankfully still at 29%, so I think he can last for a bit longer. Probably have to push the tires instead, so let's let that rest for a bit. 9 laps to go. It's a start of lap 17. Stephenson has switched out for a pit, but he's too far away for our drivers to take advantage of. While Sue still manages to snatch 19th. Nope. That was too much. Can't get away on the overtake. DC Salmi is now in blocking position since she has a good advantage over both of our drivers. Now it's 8 laps to go and both of our drivers still cannot take advantage of anything at all. Let's just finish this. Go for a high on this one. Not much of a change there. Even with the pit switch, we cannot overtake. Not looking too hot for both of our drivers here. It's a little bit of excess fuel as we start lap 20. 6 laps to go. Wasu has 8. Thanks to the DRS, they're getting a decent amount of fuel in. But there's still not much of a change up front. Really wasted our start there by going with the softer compounds instead of being an endurance run like with the rest of the crew. Looks like we'll have to make do with a different run. Oh, Buenos Aires snatches fastest lap again at the start of lap 5, or rather lap 21, with 5 laps to go. And there's definitely no change in sight for both of our drivers. Suspension is getting really finicky up there for Perez. Wasu going for charge run there with the ERS as we start lap 23, 3 laps to go, and our drivers are way behind. Gonna go into push mode. Don't care anymore. Whoa! Really? DC Omni has retired. Okay, that's a bit of a bonus for our runs, I suppose. The final lap, according to race control, we have at least one assured run here as McDC Somi is now retired, so that's going to be helpful. We're also seeing some parts condition issues with the other drivers up front, but I don't think that's going to be enough to help us get ahead. Both of our drivers are now way behind. Just a limit, I suppose. Gonna be enough angling to get home. Ugh, this is awful. Yeah, that totally sucked, unfortunately. Buenazardo still getting one for Team Keyta, however. No surprises there. They probably have enough time to get one more race in for the day. Probably work something out in the next one. See the scrutineering. No rule broken on our part. Davis did suffer that 10-second penalty because of the cut corner. Too bad it wasn't enough to jump us up a bit further. So there's that. Busso is now down to 16th, and Perez is now stuck at 19th. But we're still on top, or rather in 9th place with Esprit GP. Esprit GP is still in 10th. I need to read the news on that. We all know how that bad it is. So here is where we get the really bad looks. That's going to be a morale drop for both of our drivers, I can tell. Ugh, driver form is really bad. 4.8. Rather, Vosu is going down even worse. Team marketability is now down to 93. I need to check my... Ooh, 643,000 still. 640,000 still, I mean. Mostly because of the sponsors. New brakes are now fixed. I can send that up. What I need to worry about is Vosu. He is going down rather rapidly. Okay, but at least car parts condition went down a bit lower than previously. What's it gonna be? Oh no 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 well whatever. Best lap was 8 seconds slower than the record. I should have said that Walser needs to button it. He's already pretty bad as far as durability is concerned, but it's on the next one. Next one on the calendar, no, after the Ardennes is going to be Vancouver. Gonna need some low-speed corners on that. But do I want to spend that money? I feel like I'm gonna be relegated anyways. We'll see later. Well, I can't improve them just yet. Unfortunately, our marketability has gone down really badly. Team marketability is just 90% now, which means we're gonna get some really bad offers. Bosu is about to retire, I feel. He's only got 8 months left. I don't think I wanna keep him, even though he's got these decent stats. since he's pretty old already. Feel like he's going to have to be replaced soon. I do hope we're gonna get a decent enough driver for that. Sponsor offers coming in. 2 of them, in fact. Let's hope it's decent. Okay, remove that, replace it with this. 8 days after the race. Front wing should be okay for now. 4 days after the race. Okay, 1 day before race. I'm good enough for that. Well, we can't take advantage of the performance bonuses. New engine. Front wings. Boost to reliability would be nice. Less than I got. What's our sponsors like? Vamoose! Hey, this is nice. Fortunately, they need to be third or above. Squilado has a good setup, but I mean fourth and above, but they don't have any upfront payments, so let's go with Vamoose again. Got that investment for the brakes back. New benefits here. Should be good enough. A lot of stuff needs to be fixed. I don't like this. It's gonna be a rainy day in the Ardennes too. Well, I know it's very decent since we've got a lot of experience with Guildford, but it doesn't really affect me either way. So let's just abstain. Sure, it's gonna be moved. Okay, we didn't add Guildford to the race circuits. That's the sponsor for this one. Ooh, Football Manager. Still pretty decent, all things considered. And they just want us to be 7th or above. Yeah, I'll take that, thank you. There will be a political recess for another 2 months. I don't know what they're going to be proposing for that one. Okay, both of the scouting jobs, rather, have been completed. Chandi Banguera will be one of the weakest drivers with the Cup. She doesn't have a huge amount of potential, so we shouldn't expect her to improve very much at all. She's very smooth, but she's not the overtaking type. Dang it! I had high hopes for you, kid. I really did. Crazy. What? Dang it. How about Mario Rappa? Low quality driver, but he has a decent amount of potential. Good at braking, but he is not very focused. Why are they both off their rocker? Zillion's real, guys. Oh my god. Just barely 2.5 star. Not gonna be useful there. But wait, is done. At least we can get that thing done up. 3 hours before the race. Ugh, that's not good. Probably get that engine out. Place it with this front wing here. 4 days after race? Are you kidding me? 2 hours after the race. To make do then. Much better than nothing at this point. I'll probably get a better suspension at least. Improve reliability boost? Okay. She, thankfully. And nobody else on the scouting rink. Although I do need somebody to work with. Overtaking fitness, and he's not even pay driver material. Pretty low marketability to boot. Arbeloa, wait, what? Alright, he got pretty much ended his contract. He's already at 34, so he's not really going well there. Wasu also having some issues here. 9% per week. That marketability is going to be a problem. If we lose him, we're going to get the worst sponsors as part of the team, and our rolling reserve driver isn't exactly up to snuff either. We might have to get one as a new driver. Although that's going to eat up on the money. His stats have peaked, yeah, as you can clearly see. Kid entourage, he's chasing. Renewed passion. Animal. Stock car. But he was actually pretty decent as far as reliability. I need somebody who's good at drift, who's at least got a couple of yellows. And a bit young. Let's go by age first. Sandy Thornton, pretty decent. There is a good chance she'll have a bit of a number up there, but she's not. She doesn't have a good feedback run. I need something. I need somebody who has a good feedback rate as well. 10 won't be helpful. 13, not too good. Not too bad either. Somebody with good feedback, please. Feedback 13. Can somebody please give me somebody with good feedback? Feedback 9. Takane. Compare drivers. Okay, Voss's got 14 on its feedback, but it's dropping badly, rather badly. So think I need somebody who can actually work the feedback boost here. He is still 21, and he's still got a lot of spots here, although he does have the problem of having no, how shall we say it, no marketability. No, not the marketability part. He doesn't have anything like a pay driver bonus, so we can't really do much with him. But I think I can get Kane out as a backup. We can work him for. We can put him in feedback for practice. Right in Zozul, yeah, no feedback at all. Dang it. Onsing in, that's only 9 feedback as well. Assumption. Oh, Assumption has some pretty good feedback here. I can probably use her as a reserve driver for practice. If we can approach her. Okay, she's interested. Okay, let's put her in reserve. 7 and 2028. See if she'll agree to this. But I still need somebody who I can sign up for as far as an equal status driver is concerned. She is the reigning Asia Pacific Super Cup driver and is listed as a main, but she's currently reserve. Wonder. And she's already in the high ends, so. Yep, she's not in the mood for that. Got a reserve driver we can use for practice. I need somebody who's good for frontline and who's not passive. John Dominic Savin. Rivadero. We could probably get Rivadero if we want to. If we ever end up there, but she doesn't have any pay driver options. She has excellent performance though, so that could be a good spot. So let's take note of that. I'm starring Rivadero out here. What else is okay? Let's go for a contract ending in 2026. Bet our dear. Yeah, I'm with this guy. I don't think I like using these driver aids really. Field musician. Oh, he's an endurance driver. That's why. Ariana Piccolo. Agneta or Carlos. Carlson is pretty decent. Team player is nice. And good cornering too. The problem is she's a bit over here. Oh, good marketability, however, so we could probably take advantage of that. So I'm gonna start her up as well, but she's only 25. Can we improve? Boris Viovsky, 29. No career history. Entourage, track racing champion, crash happy, drift champion, and timesheet hero. Okay, we'll have Boris Vihovsky on the wait list as well. I think I'm gonna go with that. Okay. That's it for now. Let's save it here, and then go ahead and finish off the Ardennes run. Okay, what's it gonna be? Hang on. Anything else I should be worried about? Pretty sure I got some of them. Okay, let's see what's the Ardennes gonna be. It's gonna be 24 laps, which means we can definitely do a one-stop. Same record. Ice speed, 40% chance of rain. Keyta still on top there. Classic super soft, medium setup. It's incredibly reassuring to be involved with a team which has such a healthy balance sheet. All of the mechanics and technicians who work within the HQ are really happy to know that you got your hand on a tiller and that we're prepared for any financial crisis which might come. Well, that's mostly because we have really good sponsors, really. I didn't do anything. Really need to get back on stuff. I hope the contract we sent out would be nice enough. She's still working on things. But if things work out, we can have an excellent feedback machine in the form of Arillo. And that's going to help us get better setups in the races. Although that means we're going to need somebody to work past Vosu. We still got a couple of races to work with. Oh, Gansler and Balkan fighting for first here in Tondela. Now I missed the ERS a bit more. Z-Bach is still in 20th though. Leminams in 19th. Ramsey in 18th? Well, he is pretty much old, so I guess that's understandable. 3 days left for the race. We won't be able to get the new parts until then. Okay, let's see if... Oh, the contract was accepted! Spirit GP are likely to struggle for pace, with this being one of the least favorable tracks on their calendar. Then will never be the strongest race of the season, to be honest. It's not going to be easy. Okay, looks like she'll be happy with us. Let's send this guy home. No need to pay extra. Now we have a new test driver we can use. I've heard good things about this team. You did? Who the hell duped you, buddy? We're going to some new paymasters a tidy $569,000 a year. Yeah, I'm good with that. As long as I can get a really great reserve driver who can provide excellent feedback, I'm good with whatever. How much did that cost us? Not a lot, actually. Okay, the suspension design is also finished, but we won't put it on the car yet. Not quite yet. Improve that one. Need improved reliability for that one, unfortunately. Now, we can probably get a new engine. Reduced red zone and improved reliability. Yeah, let's go with that. It's gonna cost us a cool 1.8 million, but that's gonna be enough. So we can have a pretty decent setup for next season if we ever stay in the middle. I feel like we won't be. Hey, Hooch. We are in the Ardennes now, so let's save. Hopefully this will help us get the setup we need to get through. But we're still going to do the tactic of driving with the slowest compound in testing. That's a good one. If we can probably get 7th or above, at least we can get 600,000 back in the money pool. Okay, get this balanced up. 5 for qualifying, 2 sauce for... Yeah, this is just fit for Perez right here. Right. Hello, Arden. It's been quite a while since we drove over you. It's the rain that I'm worried about. It's very sunny right now, but there's exactly 40%. There's a 40% chance that it's going to be wet in the rain later, so Perez is definitely going to get some very nice setups there. Handling. Get a downforce as well. Okay, that should be it. Tire choice, going to be the slowest compound again. We're going for mediums. Should be it. Switch over to mediums as well. That's gonna be it. Wait, hang on. Okay, it's Assumption Ario Leonetto. And practice. She is young after all, so she'll be okay with this. Then we can probably push her up to top racer once Bosu retires, and then we'll get a new reserve driver for pay and all that. At least that's the hope. Classic S-curves here. There's a downhill hairpin. Eee. Coming up on the home corner, straight into the start. End lap, and now we're starting their flying lap. Let's see how things go. Okay, run longer ratios. Thanks for the feedback. That setup knowledge is going really quick. I really want to put her up into primary driver setup territory once the Vosu retires. Yeah, it's only 9 minutes, but the setup knowledge is already pretty high. And Leonette is getting some pretty good numbers out there on the timesheet. Okay, that's our in-lap now. Armola snatches top of the sheet, though. Kind of a shame. That's understandable. Okay, Arrow's feeling right, just right now, just right. Setup. Could use a bit more work on getting the speed up on the timesheet, though. Both of our drivers are now in the middle of the top flight. Oh no, we dropped to 7 and 8. In my big mouth. Okay, it's just gonna be cloudy. That's a good sign. Speed balance is very, very poor. I need more acceleration. A bit more speed. Your steer, probably. Hang on. Sorry, just heard some weird. My house. Hey, we need to work the balance out on the speed. It's gonna some better layouts here. Tire choice is still the same. That medium is gonna be there. I have to get Vosu up a bit more. Doing pretty decently in the timesheets, but we're going down pretty quickly as everybody else is going for some good feedbacks on their time runouts here. And that's Ario Dayanat coming out on her new outlap for another couple of stints. 6 minutes left in practice. I will really hope we can get some pretty good feedback from her so we can finally go for good runnings here, at least. Just to end the stream with a fairly decent result. So Armola is still dominating the timesheets there. 1 minute 31 flat. Qualifying trim is at level 1 at the very least there. Can it help us? Okay, whatever you did to the speed balance, it's working. Now get us on race trim level 1, please. There you go. Race trim level 1 is up, but Leonette is now down at 10th. While Sue jumps up to 5th after that excellent late run sprint. We'll see if Leonette can get better on this one. Nope, she drops even further to 11th. Wasu is at 6 now. Oop, limiter at the straights. Got you. Let's bring her in. What? Hey there, Toby. Well, technically not, but it's the first time, my first season with the Asia Pacific Super Cup, and I'm really struggling with the qualifying setup. And well, since this is this new career mode used a custom team, we pretty much have a really rough build-up, so to speak. So not a lot of the advantages that the other teams have. And well, budget isn't exactly in the excellent line of things. Anyway, back to practice here. We've only got 2.5 minutes left. Wasu drops down to 7th. Oh, downforce needs a bit more fixing. Not really helped by the fact that Vasu's Vasu's skills are going down because of his age. That's going to be a bit of a problem too. Guess a bit more downforce is necessary? No, a bit less downforce might be needed here. some more tire pressure just for the handling. That's going to be it. Hang on. And there's Audio Leonet coming in as well. Oh, crap. Speed balance still needs some work. What is she complaining about this time? Okay, oversteer, probably a bit more understeer, bit more acceleration, maybe. No, a bit more speed. Okay, this should work. Stints the same. Keep the same tires. Oh, wait, hang on. Downforce might need a bit more work. Okay, that should do it. See if this changes anything as we now enter the last 2 minutes of practice. Oh crap, no, I think Toby left. Dang it. Anyway, it's now the last 1 minute 30. I don't know if we're gonna see any more changes here. But Rio Leonet's feedback might give us some better insight on how our car, or how Perez's car will be fixed. Ooh, finally! Medium tires are now at level 3, which means we'll have some pretty decent running for the early part of the Ardennes lap. Great on setup knowledge. I haven't seen that in a while. Foster still has a lot of work for him on the last trim. Let's see if Alea Net will have some improvement in her numbers. Speed bounce feels much better now, guys. Can we get at least qualifying level 2? Because race trim is definitely nowhere near. There's Vosu crossing the finish line, but staying at 7th. Bayonette, meanwhile, jumps in. No, she's still at 3rd, but we did get qualifying trim level 2. So I think that's a good enough number for now. Boa Esperanza, I hope you guys lose. In fact, I got money on it. Dang. Mac DC saw me is definitely working his way back up after that retirement problem from the car leg previously. I'm not too confident with this, so I'm going with simulation again because I'm not really in tune with what works best here. Okay, let's go for super softs. And qualifying. Oh, crap. That was a mistake. I said I was gonna pit. Fine, whatever. Let's do this manually. They're gonna be doing it 2 stints anyways. It's clear optimization, maxed out. I keep reading that if you're going for straights like this, just max out everything and then cool things down once things start reaching the bottom. Come on, come on! Dang it. Just a bit more. Okay, we made some mistakes there. I'm sure Bossu is gonna drop. Here's hoping the flying lap at least gives them some good numbers. Not too confident about this, however. I feel like we're gonna crash. That's not a good that's not a good number. Rather, that's okay. That's current fastest lap. Armo 1 minute 31 flat from the practice run. Apparently, it still counts. So trying to beat that is going to be a bit of a tricky run. Ooh, pretty good, but Armo is definitely not going to give that away. We're dropping really rapidly. Perez is going to be kicked out of the sponsor objective soon. I feel it. Bosu is now down at 10th, 12th, 14, 15. He's dropping like a fly. Not too happy about this. Now both of our drivers are really bad in spots here. Right there they are. Tires are cold. Dang it. Now Vosu might get some perfect runs on this. If he manages to jump here, he can probably jump ahead of Perez. But that's pretty much just wishful thinking on our part right now, even with those greens on his timesheet. Come on, at least get me on these, yes! No, not exactly great, but not terrible, and I don't think I have enough time to run this for another pit lane, rather another attempt. We'll have to see. 1 minute 10 can get us back to the pit lane. Ooh, Armo once again on top. Yeah, it's 30 seconds. There's no way we're gonna be able to do another run of this. 2-1. Yeah, no. 15 and 17th. Freaking egg. Please Reba might push us further down. Well, Buenos Aires snatches top form ahead of Armoa for a surprise there. Armoa almost had it in the bag, but Buenos Aires out of nowhere just jumps ahead and gets the top qualification, 14 Kirov. Yeah, shocked faces in the press room. I understand that. That was really bad on our part. It's now starting to look really rainy. So it switched out to clouds. Not too confident about that. Remember, we're going with the slowest compound at the start of the race, so please switch out. Race trim and mediums. Race trim and pit stop guru. Now switch out and go for mediums. Switch out and mediums as well. Fuel options the same. I don't really want to do weight stripping since our car reliability is already awful as it is. Rather not. Okay. Switch out that. Should be okay. Keep the driver strategy all the same. We can probably go for high on engines. Keep everything else neutral. Oh crap, are you kidding me? It was just cloudy earlier. What the heck? Wait, what? Well, whatever. Let's hope we don't have to worry about... Ooh, we don't have to worry about the weather, but for the time being, we need to worry about our acceleration. That was an awful start for Bosu there. Perez, meanwhile, having trouble keeping everybody behind her, and now she's down to the 19th. Not too happy about that start. Not too happy about the continuation either. I feel like we're gonna lose here again. We really need to work our way up. Oh, there's Perez with a good overtake on that chicane. While Sue also taking advantage of the downhill chicane to jump to 16th. Got a good jump up for the start of lap 2. Armoa scoring best or fastest lap again. Oof. Perez not being able to use her DRS is really doing numbers on her as well. Oh crap! Sylvander going a little too overboard and crashing into the tires. Sector 2. That's going to be a bit of a hit and get for us mostly, but I don't think we can take advantage of that unless we can somehow push things with our reliability on engines, rather. I'm not too confident about that right now. Buenos Aires now snatches fastest lap and also snatching pole at the start of lap 3. Bit of a rough patch for everybody else. Amachi now at 7th, Dellingfist at 6th. Dellingfist the only guy in the top 7 with soft compounds. And Perez going for an energy push there. Too bad she got taken over by Stephenson. Stephenson using the ERS to try and take over Bosu's position and succeeding on that chicane, or rather that hairpin. Now on the downhill hairpin, both of our drivers at the back. 21 laps to go and everything seems to be falling apart here. Leading ERS is not exactly something I'm happy with. Oof. We should really vote out the ERS after this. This is kind of annoying. Perez trying to overtake Bosu. Couldn't keep it to go in the chicane. Now we're going through the last of the S turns before we go for the hairpin. Starting lap 5. Oh, Perez manages to snatch 18th from her teammate there. After the hairpin. Now, they're trying to get close to Stephenson at least. It's lap 5, and we're starting to see some pretty nasty tire work up front as the reliability of things is starting to look really bad. Bosu keeping in pace with his teammate, but trying not to crash into him as he tries to overtake. Now we're starting lap 6 with a bit of an issue here. Tire heating is a bit of a problem, and the tire wear isn't exactly looking too good. Stephenson, for some reason, got left behind. And he is now down to 18th, but he's trying to get through on these straights by power alone. Although he doesn't seem to be in a good spot, right? What? Oof. Stephenson gets a bit left behind on that one. The end of the S-curves. And having trouble keeping it in straights without the ERS. Now he's left behind at the start of lap 7. A lot of ERS work here. Oof couldn't take advantage of that. He's still behind after using up his ERS charge there. And now Mac DC Sawme might lose his 17th spot here. Even with the ERS going. Nope. He manages to defend that. He's got enough of a charge to get past Perez on the end of the S-curve. Now it's downhill chicane. Not much of a change there. Now Perez is going for slow burn on the ERS. Stephenson still in the back. Esteva going for a pit there. Ooh, bit of a tough spot here. With Magdisi saw me still blocking both of our drivers. Up front, Buenazardo might be going for a pit change here. Or not. Looks like she's gonna be running for another lap. Armo still decent with 34%. Tuna's in 34. Lays Royba 35. Tien Nuna 35 as well. Bosu. Oh, that was Bosu. Tien Nuna is at 35 as well. Buchalski 49, rounding up the top 7. Gonna be a lot of work trying to get into that group, especially with the power we have. Looks like we don't have to worry about any. Ooh, crap! Stephenson going for an energy supported. Wait, what? Uh-oh. Esteva crashed. Oof, Esteva crashed just before the end of the S turns, prior to the downhill chicane. We've only got 45 seconds. Let's just push ahead, lads. 30 seconds. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, push up. Oof. Couldn't get Best Stephenson on that one. Maybe we can go through the chicane and go on an overtake? Nope. Stephenson match. Ooh! Perez has crashed! This has been a crash-happy run. Dang it! Now everything lies on Vosu. Can he survive this? That was a really bad strike. I think Perez suffered from a brake issue just before exiting that corner, and she kind of locked up. Everything is busted. Well, the brakes are still pretty decent for some reason. But there's got to be a lot of work for us here. That's 3 people in the crash zone now. Now we'll just have to pray that Bosu can manage to keep the car in spec, maybe get some points up by staying on the road for longer than everybody else and switching over to softs as soon as possible. Now he's jumped to 15th, but I don't think he can block Armoa for long, even with the ERS on. And there you go. He complained, and now he's back in the end there. Just going through the S-curves. Approaching the downhill on the downhill chicane, or downhill hairpin. At the start of lap 12, and things are looking pretty grim for us right now. Not only are we in the back, we don't have a lot in terms of fuel and tire wear. Vosu opts for a power charge run just to save on his fuel lines here. But he's still not making enough to get close to both of the leading drivers ahead of him. Oh, that's 3 of them. Ugh, late braking not really doing well. 12 laps to go here. Can't really get past everybody going for ERS. Yeah, no, I really can't use ERS properly. Like, I know it's supposed to provide boosts for straight runs, but I can't tell how long it actually runs, or if it runs properly at all, which is why I can't really make the most out of it. We had to read something on that later. Going forward here, 36% left on the tires. Still pretty decent for a lot of this. We could probably switch over to soft soon. I just need to get enough time to close in. I just need to get on the straightaway as we approach the last 10 laps of the circuit. Dang it, that didn't do much. What's the point of the ERS if I can't even make it take advantage of any straights like that? Speaking of taking advantage, he's now down 30% on the wheels. Still need to move up here. We'll probably switch out when he's down to 26 on the tires. Now, it's 9 laps to go, and we're down to 29%. We'll probably switch him out here now. Switch over to 12, get the fuel. Okay, let's go with this. Hopefully we won't have any errors. Getting over Delinkvis, who picked out... oh wait, it's not Delinkvis, it's Parker who went out for a pit change. Bosu is now up to 14th. Now let's see if we can go right at it. Having a bit of trouble here in the S corner. Not managing to get close enough on the overtake in the downhill hairpin. Now Bosu will have to concede his spot here. And he's now way behind, back down to 17th again. Can he get back into things? Looks like everybody else has switched to inters over here. Oh, crap. Yeah, this was a bad idea. I think I might have to redo this. That crash really ruined our numbers. Yeah, nah. I think this is a good sign that I need to get a bit more focused if I want to get back into this. I kind of overlooked a lot of key spots on that race. Let's just see how far we can go back here. Don't assume it's just before we head out to the practice, so we'll look into that first. But unfortunately, that's going to be a sign that I'll have to call it in for today. Thank you so much for dropping by. I know it was a bit of a disappointing day at the races, but that's expected. As someone who has not touched the Asia Pacific Super Cup before, this was a bit of a shake-up for me. So, not really a lot we can do out there. Too bad, really. Guess at this point I'm just gonna try and get through the motion so that we can go ahead and finish the season, possibly get demoted. I'd really probably would prefer getting demoted over spending another run here in the Asia Pacific Super Cup without any achievements on our part, and probably with a retiring driver to boot. I probably need a little more practice to get back into this with the Asia Pacific Super Cup stuff. So we won't be doing this for a few more days, I suppose. Tomorrow, I'm not too sure what I am going to do. It could be another run with the Valor Realms Kinji's Journey that we've already started last time. We've already gotten a little too far, actually. So we could probably check into that. Although there's also the Relic Remastered expansion missions that we can touch. I haven't touched any of those yet, even in my off time, so that'll be interesting to look into. I'll consider that from now. Any hoot. For the time being, if you got any complaints or VOD reactions to the stream tonight, please do not hesitate. You can always drop me a line on my Twitter on my Pixiv. If you got hankering for the older streams that have already expired here on Twitch, please do not hesitate to check the VOD archive link in the About tab of my profile page, and also searchable on YouTube under the same username. Lurk at Work. That's work with a U instead of an O. By the way, if you're currently checking the stream, thanks, or checking the VOD, thanks for dropping by. I'm sorry that that was an awful VOD run right now. Uh, maybe maybe next time things will look a bit better. But if you prefer to see some of the better racing days we've had, you can check the rest of the channel for some other Motorsport Manager VODs that might be interesting, or you could also check the other archive categories that might be a bit more uh, agreeable to your preferences. Anyway, speaking of the channel, if you've got a friend who might be interested in the stuff I stream, or who just wants to complain about PNG streamers in general, uh, I would really be grateful if he can share my Twitch channel with twitch.tv/lurk@work. That's all from me for now. Once again, I'm still not sure what's going to happen tomorrow, so keep an ear out for that. As for tonight, though, Lurk at Work is RTB. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Good night, everybody.